What's good, y'all? Blacksmith here, and today we're here to talk about Blink Twice. As we transition into horror movie season, it seems that Hollywood wanted to end the summer off with a thriller. And this thriller is the directorial debut of well-known actress Zoe Kravitz, and stars her fiance, Mr. Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here, Channing Tatum. So with all this star power in the cast and director's chair, was this movie good enough to end the summer with a bang? Let's talk about it. Blink Twice follows the life of a woman named Frida, played by Naomi Ackie, who pretty much is searching for a better life for herself. And she seems to think that she'll find her better life with Channing Tatum's character, Slater King. And after she gets his attention and a personal invitation to join him and his friends and colleagues on his personal island, things get wild from there. That's all for the plot. Now let's get into these pros and cons. Starting with the pros, the first pro of this movie, the cinematography. The way this movie is shot is beautiful. From the environmental shots to the physical shots of everyone's appearance and even the close-ups, all the attention to detail that went into the cinematography was fantastic to look at. So no matter what, above all else, you will like the way this movie looks, I guarantee it. Second pro, the acting. Now, I'm not gonna lie, when this movie first started, I wasn't really that blown away by the acting. I thought it was a little bit corny in the beginning, but that's also because of the lack of conflict that was happening. So I had to give it a little bit more time. And when it comes to time in this movie, I'll get to that later. But as the plot started to kick in my opinion, the acting definitely got better. Especially during the climax, and it made me feel so bad for thinking that the acting was bad in the beginning for these characters, because what they go through in the climax, sheesh. The third and final pro that I have to give this movie, the writing. And I give all the props to this to Zoe Kravitz for not only directing but also writing this movie. It was very well written. I liked the story, I liked how it all played out. I did like how you had to build up from certain parts to understand it in the end. So it was very well written. Good job, Zoe Kravitz. Now let's get into these cons. Or should I say con, because in my opinion, there's really only one big one for me. Remember that comment I made earlier about time and how, some of the acting took time for it to get good for me? Well, as much as it helped it on the aspect of the acting, it didn't necessarily help it as far as the progression of the story, in my opinion. Because if you're anything like me, I do not like slow burn films. And in layman's terms, that pretty much means a film that takes way too long to get to the climax. This movie is about an hour and 40 minutes long. At least the first 40 to 50 minutes of this movie was just pretty much a tease. Just when you thought that something was about to happen, and something that you kind of expected to happen that you would later see in the film didn't happen at that moment, it was just kind of disappointing. It was a letdown for me at a lot of the times. And that in itself begs the question, was the wait throughout the film worth it in the end or when you got to the climax? And the answer I would give to that is no. No, it wasn't. Because as good as the climax was, it shouldn't have taken that long to get to it. This movie had a lot of filler that could have been left on the cutting room floor, and it kind of made the movie drag on a little bit longer than it should have. Or at the very least, they could have made this filler a lot more interesting leading up into the climax. All in all, I really did enjoy this movie. It's a hell of a directorial debut from Zoe Kravitz. Channing Tatum and Naomi Ackie did their thing too. And even though this isn't a horror movie by normal standards, I would consider this more of a thriller. It is a good movie to transition out of summer and into the spooky season with. Thanks for checking out my review. Let me know if you plan on seeing this movie. Let me know if you've already seen it and what you thought about it. Let me know what you thought about my review, and give this video a like and your boy a follow. I truly appreciate it. Until next time, peace.